So I woke up this morning and we found out that journalist Don Lemon was arrested by the Department of Justice, and he has been charged with a connection to a protest that took place where a bunch of people invaded a church during their service and took their protest inside. Now, there was no damage done to the building, there was no assaults, there was no violence, there was no threats of violence from all of the footage that I could see. However, I do agree that you don't have permission to take your protest inside of a holy space. This is sacred and it should be considered sacred. Regardless of who is running it, you should not be doing that. However, that being said, the people that were doing the protest is different from what Don Lemon was doing. He was acting as a journalist, and when he was asked to leave, he did so.
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
but there were folks who will.
that's what, I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here. We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
We're about
love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
No
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I ask that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
Unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So there you have it. I mean, you can see clearly once the pastor of the church asked Don Lemon to leave, he said, "You don't want us here." Nope. Okay. Thank you very much. And then from everything that I've been able to find, Don Lemon then actually left the building. So he wasn't a part of the protest. And I'll show you what the protest looked like from this guy here.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No, Jesus would dine within the. Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Shame.
So that's an example of what was actually going on. I think there's two things to note here. One, it looks like about 60 to 70% of that church is empty. So that's one point. A lot of people are saying, oh, there's this Islamic takeover. Christians are being slaughtered, blah, blah, blah. No, people are just leaving Christianity. I mean, let's just be honest. It is the fastest regressing religion in the world, where Islam is the fastest growing in the world. You don't see empty mosques on Fridays, but you see an awful lot of empty churches on Sundays. Now, I know that's gonna ruffle some feathers, and it is what it is. Prove me wrong in the comments if you think otherwise. But I used to be a Christian. I can tell you right now, the pews were almost always empty everywhere that I went. Now, I'm not talking about the mega churches where they put on rock concerts. That's a whole different thing. That's not even really Christianity, but I digress. Let's get back to the story at hand. What this man did here with the F Trump hat on, 100% that's a crime. I think he should be arrested and I think he should be prosecuted for it. You cannot do that, right? The same thing is if you go into a mosque and you do something, or you go into a synagogue and you do something similar to what this guy did, you should be arrested. Because if our sacred spaces, and a church is a sacred space, even though I'm not a Christian, I do recognize it as a sacred space. If it's not sacred, then nothing is in this country, and then everything is fair game, and you're going to have chaos. So you cannot do this. It's just human decency not to do that. Even if you totally disagree with the religion, you can't do that. I think this guy deserves to go to jail for what he did. This is not the way. Attacking sacred spaces is not the way. Again, This is a huge difference of what he was doing and what Don Lemon did. And that's why I would say Don Lemon is not guilty of the same charges that they're charging this man with, as well as some of the other protesters.
Don Lemon has officially been arrested, people. It's about damn time we start holding these psychopaths accountable for their actions. If you don't know who Don Lemony Squeeze is, he's the one that goes up and harass people and basically preach that white man is the devil. Meanwhile, he's getting pumped out every night by his oppressor that he claims. Because let's be honest, he's not the one doing the pumping. This knucklehead ass, mind you, a 60-year-old man decided to lead a group of vicious, violent protesters in a church, scaring all the women, scaring all the children, only for him to get some footage. He thought he was above the law because of his power. The Trump administration is working overtime, overdrive. Now, we don't know why he's being charged, but speculation is that he violated the Ku Klux Klan Act.
So there's a couple things I want to say to this one. Is somebody going to tell this guy that he is not a straight white Christian man? Because I think he thinks he is. I mean, I'm just saying. Somebody want to let this guy know that he's sitting here defending white people. Listen, as a white man, brother, I don't need you to defend me. I'm good. I'm good. I can defend myself. White people have been defending themselves since, we lost all of our melanin after we migrated out of Africa. Number two, you're gay as Don Lemon is. I'm just saying it. I'm going to put it out there. In my opinion, the way that you speak is more gay than Don Lemon. Now, I don't know if you actually are gay. That's your thing. That's your thing. But I'm going to say straight up, the way that you speak is more gay than Don Lemon. So before you go, lambasting Don Lemon for his sexual orientation, you might want to learn how to speak a little bit more manly and a little bit less feminine, because you're giving that vibe. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to arrest this guy and you're going to charge him for doing these agitator, insurrectionist type of charges, why is Jake Lang still walking the streets free? Remember, he spent 4 years in jail because he took a baseball bat to the head of a police officer. He is now running around causing all kinds of havoc and hate. And here we have this group, a protest. And there's something very clear I want to point out about this protest. We're going to get to it right here in just a second. But remember this is extraordinarily important that you see this and you remember what Donald Trump and his administration said. Oops, take a look right here. What is this man carrying? Oh, that's right, a rifle, an assault rifle. Remember Alex Preddy, who was murdered by ICE, and then they said, well, you can't be carrying a gun. The head of the FBI, Crazy Eye Kash Patel, comes out and says, you can't carry a gun to a protest. That's illegal. Well, this is clearly a protest against Muslims. And this man is carrying a firearm. Why is this guy not been charged? Why is he not in prison? Why is this guy roaming around in a protest holding a sign? Clearly he's a part of the protest, and he is carrying an assault rifle while wearing military-style fatigues. There's a clearer picture. It's not just the buttstock. There it is. It looks like he also has a sidearm as well. So my question is, why didn't ICE agents run up to this man and shoot him 10 times for carrying a gun during a protest? Just putting that out there. However, I am very pro Second Amendment, and I actually don't have a problem with this guy carrying a sign and wearing his lawfully purchased, owned, and registered, if it is, firearm to a protest. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's perfectly legal as long as he is not threatening anyone or causing harm.
There we go. There's some bacon right there. All right. The perfect condiment for the evil Quran. Yeah.
So here you have Jake Lang putting pork bacon on a Quran, desecrating it, damaging it, burning Qurans, all of these things, calling for a crusade against Muslim Americans and wanting to get rid of all of them. If everybody started listening to Jake Lang and taking up arms and their neighbors started coming to kill Muslims, it's going to be a bloody fight, because Muslims aren't just going to stand there and let you kill them. They will fight back. And so he is literally calling for violence by doing that. Therefore, he should be charged with insurrection, agitation, whatever charges that they're trying to give these church protesters, the bare minimum should apply to Jake Lang, but it's not. Imagine if Jake Lang, who went to a synagogue and did the same thing. But you'll never see him go to a synagogue and do the same thing because this right here.
Lang, the guy leading this protest, kissing the wall, pretending to be Christian. He does not represent Christians in America. All of my friends from home are Catholics and Christians. They do not buy into this hatred as Muslims we love.
Jake Lang, clearly kissing the wall, wearing a kippah, wearing the tiny Torah on his head. He also put the straps around him. Now, he tried to come out and explain this as, oh, we just did a vacation in Israel, and this is just what you do. But there's other videos of Jake Lang clearly saying that he is Jewish, that his sister's in the IDF, blah, 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 blah. Listen, Jake, we know that you're a plant. You're not fooling anybody other than the dumbest of MAGA. That's just the way it is. But you'll never see him go to a synagogue and do this because he actually is Jewish. And here's the other thing. If he went to a synagogue and did the same things that he's doing right now, he absolutely would be charged with the same or even more severe crimes that these protesters got at that church. I guarantee it. But he's allowed to do this to Muslims because this administration is clearly, undoubtedly against Muslims. And these guys are taking full advantage of it. But one thing I love to see is that Jake Lang, with all of this tough talk, he is the biggest sissy on the internet. This dude runs from every adult male who steps to him. He won't fight. He won't do anything. This dude, he provocates and then he runs.
That's not what America looks like. Fuck yeah, hell yeah, baby. You fucking pink bitch. Fuck you, fucking pussy.
Look at him. Turns and runs. Agitates, provocates, and then runs. He got a little too deep in the weeds on this one when he went to Minneapolis and he found out the hard way that they don't play around in that city. It may be Minnesota and everybody's nice in Minnesota, but Minneapolis, that's a city that doesn't play around. They are 100% willing to get down. And once again, wearing his Temu bulletproof vest with no armor in it, trying to look tough. But then he has to get saved by not only this black guy here, who was among the protests, and then seeing that it was getting a little bit out of hand and had to save him, but also a Muslim guy saved Jake Lang's life. So again, he provocates and then he runs like a little girl. But the funny part is he not only does that and he gets on transvestites and stuff, but then a transvestite saved him by when he ran in and jumped in their car and they drove him to safety.
Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door!
So this individual right here did an interview later on, and this is a man. This is not a woman. This is a man. This is a transvestite. Jake Lang jumps into their car and they save him.
Oh my God. Drive. Oh my God. Just drive. Stop. Wait, let them go. Let them go. Hey, pull over. Hey, leave it. Get out of here. Leave it off. No. Y'all just let him leave. It's not worth it. Hey. You don't know him. Hey, let him out.
He never should have been pardoned to begin with. He is the very definition of an insurrectionist and a agitator, a paid agitator that Donald Trump likes to throw out there. So on a final note, again, I'm not a fan of Don Lemon. I don't like Don Lemon. I don't support Don Lemon, but I do support the Second Amendment. I do support freedom of press, and he is a journalist. He is a left-wing journalist, an extreme left-wing journalist, but he is a journalist. Those are my thoughts on it. Drop your thoughts. I'll read as many as I can and respond to as many as I can. And remember, stay safe out there, guys.